Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Autumn Learner, and today we are going to read the chapter number 7 of Atomic Habit. The topic is the secret to self-control. Okay, in 1971, as the Vietnam War was heading into its 16th year, Congressman Robert Steele from Connect Connecticut, and Morgan Murphy from Illinois made a discovery that stunned the American public. While visiting the troops, they had learned that over 15% of U.S. soldiers stationed there were heroin addicts. Follow-up research revealed that 35% of service members in Vietnam had tried heroin and as many as 20% were addicted. The problem was even worse than they had initially thought. The discovery led to a flurry of activity in Washington, including the creation of special action office of drug abuse prevention under President Nixon to promote prevention and rehabilitation and to track addicted service members when they returned home. Lee Robbins was one of the researchers in charge in a finding that completely offended the accepted beliefs about addiction. Robbins found that when soldiers who had been heroin users returned home, only 5% of them become re-addicted within a year and just 12% replaced within 3 years. In other words, approximately 9 out of 10 soldiers who used heroin in Vietnam eliminated their addiction nearly overnight. This finding contradicted the prevailing view at the time, which considered the heroin addiction to be a permanent and irreversible condition. Okay. Instead, Robbins revealed that addiction could spontaneously dissolve if there was a radical change in the environment. In Vietnam, soldiers spent all day surrounded by queue triggering heroin use. It was easy to access. They were engulfed by the constant stress of war. They built friendship with fellow soldiers who were also heroin users, and they were thousands of miles from home. Once a soldier returned to the United States, though he found himself in an environment devoid of those triggers. When the context changed, so did the habit. Compare this situation to that of a typical drug user. Some becomes addicted at home or with friends, goes to an clinic to get clean, which is devoid of all the environmental stimuli that prompt their habit, then returns to their whole neighborhood with all of their previous cues that caused them to get addicted into the past place. It's no wonder that usually you see numbers that are the exact opposite of those in the Vietnam study. Typically, 90% of heroin users become re-addicted once they return home from rehab. The Vietnam studies run counter to many of our cultural beliefs about bad habits because it challenged the conventional association of unhealthy behavior as a moral weakness. If you are overweight, a smoker, or addict, you have been told your entire life that it is because you lack self control. Maybe even that you are a bad person. The idea that a little bit of discipline would be solve our all problems is deeply embedded in our culture. Recent research, however, shows something different. When scientists analyze people who appear to have tremendous self-control, it's turned out those individuals aren't all that different from those who are struggling. Instead, disciplined people are better at structuring their lives in a way that does not require heroic willpower and self-control. In other words, they spend they spend less time in competing situations. The people with the best self-control are typically the ones who need to use it the least. It's easier to practice self-restraint when you don't have to use it very often. So yes, perseverance, greed, and willpower are essential to success. But the way to improve these qualities is not by wishing you were a more disciplined person, but by creating a more disciplined environment. This counterintuitive idea makes even more sense once you understand what happens when a habit is formed in the brain. A habit that has been encoded in the mind is ready to be used whenever the relevant situation arises. When Patty Olwell, the therapist from Austin, Texas, started smoking, she would often light off while riding horses with a friend. Eventually, she quit smoking and avoided it for years. She had also stopped riding because later she hopped on a horse again and found herself grabbing a cigarette for the first time in forever. The cue was still an internalized. She just hadn't been exposed to them in a long time. Once a habit has been encoded, the urge to act follow whenever the environmental cues reappear. This is one reason behavior change technique can backfire, smashing away people with weight loss presentation can make them feel stressed, and as a result, many people return to their favorite coping strategy, overeating. Showing pictures of black-ended lungs to smokers lead to higher levels of anxiety, which drives many people to reach for a cigarette. If you aren't useful about cues, you can cause the behavior you want to stop. Bad habits are autocatalytic. The process speed itself. They foster the feelings they try to numb. You feel bad, so you eat junk food. Because you eat junk food, you feel bad. Watching television makes you feel sluggish, so you watch more television because you don't have the energy to do anything else. Worrying about your health makes you anxious, which causes you to smoke to ease your anxiety, which makes your health even worse, and soon you are feeling more anxious. It's a downward spiral, a runaway train of bad habits. Researchers report to ease this phenomenon as cue-induced wanting. An external trigger causes a compulsive craving to repeat a bad habit. Once you notice something, you begin to want it. The process is happening all the time. Often without us realizing it, scientists have found that showing addict a picture of cocaine for just 33 milliseconds stimulates the reward pathway in the brain and sparks desire. This speed is too fast for the brain to consciously register. The addicts could not even tell you what they had seen, but they grabbed the drug all the same. Here is the punchline: you can break a habit, but you are unlikely to forget it. Once the mental groups of habit have been carved into your brain, they are nearly impossible to remove entirely, even if they go unused for quite a while. And that means that simply resisting temptation is an effective strategy. It is hard to maintain a zen attitude in a live field, the interruption it takes too much energy. In the short run, you can choose an overpower temptation. In the long run, we become a product of environment that we live in. To put it bluntly, I never seen someone consistently stick to positive habit in a negative environment. A more reliable approach is to cut bad habits of the source. One of the most practical ways to eliminate a bad habit is to reduce exposure to the cue that causes it. If you can't seem to get any work done, leave your phone in another room for a few hours. If you continually feeling like you are not enough, stop following social media accounts that trigger jealousy and envy. If you are wasting too much time watching television, move the TV out of the bedroom. If you are spending too much money on electronics, quit reading reviews of the latest tech gear. If you are playing too many video games, unplug the console and put it in a closet after you use it. This practice in an inversion of the first law of behavior change rather than make it obvious. You can make it invisible. I am often surprised by how effective simple changes like this can be. Remove a single cue and the entire habit will fades away. Self-control is a short-term strategy, not a long-term one. You may be able to resist temptation once or twice, but it's unlikely you can summoning a new dose whenever you want to do the right thing. Your energy would be better spent optimizing your environment. This is the secret of self-control. Make use of your good habits obvious and the use of your bad habits invisible. Chapter summary: the inversion of the past law behavior change make it invisible. Once habit is formed, it is unlikely to be forgotten. People with high self-control tend to spend less time in tempting situation. It's easier to avoid temptation than resist it. One of the most practical ways to eliminate a bad habit is to reduce exposure to the cue that causes it. Self-control is a short-term strategy, not a long-term one. Okay. How to create a good habit. First law 1.1. Fill out the habit scorecard. Write down your current habits to become aware of them. 1.2. Use implementation intention. I will be behavior at a time in location. 1.3. Use habit tracking. After current habit, I will new habit. 1.4. Design your environment. Make it cue of good habits obvious and invisible. Visible. Second law, make it attractive. Third law, make it easy. And fourth law, make it satisfying. Okay, how to break a bad habit? Just how to create a good habit. The opposite of the how to create a good habit. Okay, and in next video we are going to be talking about the second law of the atomic habit, that is the make it attractive. Thank you for watching guys, and see you in next video with new energy and new happiness, and I hope you all you guys are fine and healthy. Keep smiling on your face. See you in next video. Bye.